So recently, Trump made a controversial statement that he does not want people from shithole countries immigrating to the US. Now, as much as I'm not a fan of Trump, I kind of do agree with him on this, and as usual, the liberals of the media went berserk over this. One of my favorite responses is from a guy called Gazi Kozdo. Anyway, this guy is I think he is a member of Black Lives Matter, I'm not certain, but in general, he is like this kind of black Fidel Castro nationalist who wants a black ethno-state, and he's been saying some pretty darn stuff against white people. Here I'm going to actually respond to his exact video on what he thinks of Trump's words. Now this video is 13 minutes long, so I'm just going to cut it down to a bit just to get to the important parts.
To get something off my chest about this whole thing about what Trump said about Haiti and African nations being a shithole.
I mean,
as you can tell from the title, the U.S. government is the real shithole, okay? Now, I understand what Trump says. It makes people angry, and he's going out there and he's telling, he's saying all these racist things and these white nationalist things. Yes, Trump is a beast. Trump is a pig. I get it. We got it. It's good. But Trump is nothing but a creation of the American government. Trump may say these things, but the U.S. government been treating Africans like shit.
Great. Now he's going to give us a history lesson.
Because while Obama was president, he has a detention camp in Miami that's holding Africans from Haiti are in that detention camp in Miami.
Yeah, the ones who illegally tried to enter the country. I mean, do you not know the definition of illegally enter?
So, people, these are African people in Haiti who are trying to escape deplorable conditions that the U.S. government put on Haiti. That's why they're here in the United States of America. Just like every other colonized people around the world. White people, y'all need to calm down. I'm sorry, Becky. I'm sorry, Tom. I'm sorry, Cave Becky and Cave Tom. Y'all need to start smelling your own booty. But America ain't that great. The only reason why African and other colonized people come to America is to escape the hell that America is putting on us. Okay? It's to escape the bombs that America's putting on us. It's to escape the COINTELPRO that America's putting on us. It's to escape all the drones that America is putting on us.
Drones? Bombs? Since when has there been an American war in Haiti or Africa? Look, there are 15 wars in Africa right now, and every single one of them are between the ethnic groups there. They're making themselves a shithole. Also, doesn't Djibouti's economy, an African nation by the way, benefit from having foreign military bases stationed there, including American drones?
Okay. Africans in Haiti single-handedly carried the African world on their shoulders. Okay? Black people, we owe more to the Africans in Haiti than any other group in the world. Any other group in the world that you can imagine. Haiti, a ragtag group of enslaved people, rose up and defeated the greatest military of the time. Defeated Napoleon and all of his best generals that went to Haiti.
Yeah, Haiti didn't win the Haitian Revolution all on its own. You're forgetting that, first of all, France at the time was fighting all of Europe simultaneously. But what you also miss is the fact that Britain helped Haiti in every way possible. Hell, Admiral John Duckworth led the British troops that aided Haiti. May I also remind you that the British successfully occupied Saint Dominique in 1798? You didn't mention that at all.
White power got your ass beat by a shithole, okay? White power knows what Haiti did, what Haiti can do, what African people did do and can do.
We know you had help from a white power country and you can't do shit right now. Let me tell you something obvious. Haiti is a shithole country, and I'll explain it in detail once you finish your rants.
Okay, and it was the French and the U.S. government and all these other European governments that forced and coerced Haiti to pay France reparations. After Haiti whooped France's ass, fair and square, the U.S. government and all these other European governments forced and coerced Haiti to pay France reparations. Reparations for what? The stolen black lives of the Haitian people themselves. If that ain't a whoop-de-doop, if that ain't a stunt, if that ain't a scam, I don't know what is. But we know these male Saxons is full of scam and trickery. We know they are full of scams and trickery, okay? And it was the U.S. government, this shithole government, that put a 100-year economic quarantine on Haiti and starved Haiti to death and starved the people of Haiti.
100 years? Sanctions were put on Haiti in the 1990s. And don't blame others for your own failures. Haiti could have rebuilt itself and provided for its people, but instead it chose to commit crimes against its own people and neighbors over the next century and a half. I mean, Japan fixed itself to become one of the most powerful countries in the world. Why couldn't Haiti follow that example?
It was the U.S. government that invaded Haiti in 1914. The U.S. Marines invaded Haiti and by gunpoint forced Haiti to edit their constitution and say, because in the constitution of Haiti it said you have to be black to own land in Haiti. It was the U.S. Marines that forced the Haitian Africans in Haiti to change that in their constitutions. If Haiti is such a shithole United States government, then why did those same Marines force Haiti to give all the resources of the Haitian banks under the control of the U.S. government? Did you know that? Did you know? Yes. They stole by gunpoint all the resources that were in all the banks of Haiti, and the U.S. government ran and controlled the Haitian banks.
Yeah, I know. And I also know that the occupation ended in 1937 under Roosevelt. Let's also not forget that Haiti's financial control was fully returned in 1947. Meanwhile, Haitians only took part in coups and revolutions, basically not being able to form a stable government. And whose fault it is? Their own.
Who's the shithole? Who's the shithole? Okay,
I'll cut you off right here. Haiti is a shithole country, and as I started explaining earlier, let me finish it now. The immigrants leaving will also tell you that they're shithole countries. The government is extremely corrupt and doesn't provide for its own citizens. It has a murder rate 6 times the US, even 12 times that in the capital, and it has a GDP per capita that is second or third lowest in the world. You cannot tell me someone else is responsible for that, since they've chose to commit all those crimes themselves. I mean, didn't the Haitians rebel against their government in 2004? The Dominican Republic right next door is much better. Why? Because its government is less corrupt and the people are much more focused on rebuilding the economy. Hell, it's even a popular tourist destination among Westerners.
The worst crime in history was the enslavement of African people. When white power invaded Africa and made Africa a continent, a 12 million square foot continent, into an incubator for African people, who enslaved African people to give them free labor.
Slavery was prominent on every continent, and despite your denials, Africans did enslave their own people and sell them to the Europeans. Now he'll just say a lot of stuff about how everyone is oppressed and how they need to rise up. Let me skip to the next part, because this next part is even more stupid.
Haitians are fucking strong because the U.S. government steals the resources of Haiti, so Haiti cannot build an actual infrastructure that can withstand earthquakes and other natural disasters. So, the same reason that those Haitian buildings fall is the same reason why when your gay ass goes to West Hollywood and parties and gets high off a Tina and gets hit by a level 5 earthquake and not a brick falls down. Okay, it's because all that infrastructure was stolen from the Africans in Haiti and the Africans in the continent of Africa, because you stole up our resources. And that's why any natural disaster that hits African people anywhere we are is devastated, because you stole our infrastructure, bitch.
Or maybe it's because the Haitian government is so corrupt that they spend everything on themselves. Also, what you forgot to mention is the US improved infrastructure during the occupation, while Haitian governments refused to improve it.
And you want to talk about infrastructure? The real shithole, it was Europe, okay? Because it was only these toilet seat complexion individuals that were running away from home.
Wrong, dipshit. If it weren't for Europe, you wouldn't have all the luxuries you have right now. The Greeks and Romans were the most advanced civilizations in the world at the time, and Europe regained all their information during the Renaissance. Also, we didn't leave Europe, we went out for trade, and then eventually we found colonies.
Ain't nobody else was running away from home. Niggas weren't running away from Africa.
Wrong. African empires before colonization also went to great lengths to expand their empire.
Them Chinese people were running away from Asia.
Do you know why China is so big? Well, They invaded other regions of Asia, even stretching down to the South China Sea and Southeast Asia.
Okay, the Middle Eastern people were staying right where they was at. Okay,
Wrong, but just wait a second. Listen to this.
they might have came to the North Africa. We're gonna, you know, they might have, you know.
That face and noise he made when he found out he was wrong.
I came to the North Africa. We're gonna, you know, they might have, you know, but
They spread to North Africa. They went into East Asia, all the way to the Philippines, and even into Central Africa.
you know, the Native Americans, they stayed right here in Native America, Turtle Island, whatever they want to call it. You know,
Because they couldn't. They had no capabilities in crossing the oceans.
they stayed right where they wanted to be. The Mexicans were staying in Mexico. The Aztecs, they might have disappeared, but they were staying.
And they also fought bloody wars and tried to spread their empires too.
Only you crackers left. Only you male Saxons left. Only you toilet seat complexion individuals left your home because it was a shithole. You are shithole aliens. You are shitholians, my nigga. White people are the shitholians of the world, okay? Only you left your home, my nigga. Only you left your home, male Saxon. Only you left your home, colonizer, and then oppressed and colonized and stole the lands of other people around the world. So, bitch, the real shithole, Trump, is Europe. The real shithole is the U.S. government and every other white nationalist government that continues to steal and loot African and colonized people's resources around the world, okay?
Okay, this guy talks about colonization way too much and only blames it on white people. Well, Gazi Kozdo, or however you pronounce your name, let me tell you this. Violence is a part of history, and you people have also done your fair share of invasions and attempted colonization. The West resisted colonization many times. From the Persians, Carthage, the Islamic Empire, many North African kingdoms, the Huns, the Mongols, the Ottomans. The Americans were even invaded by the Mexicans, and our people also lived in poor conditions. It wasn't the only reason, but it is still a contributing factor.
This whole thing, okay, Africa is the richest continent in the world with the most beautiful and brilliant people of the world, if you ask me.
First of all, no one asked you, and if you ask me, I think you look like a voodoo drag queen. And second of all, Africa may be the richest continent resource-wise, but you don't do anything with it. All you do is play the victim and choose not to work but turn around and complain about the poverty rate. Like, seriously, fuck off.
Still solidarity with other colonized people, you know, we daddy, okay? So, Africa, like, what my girl, Nicki Minaj say? Africa is the alpha, the omega, and everything in between. Not. Anyway.
Yeah, you listen to a woman with plastic in her ass.
Yes, we runs this shit, okay? Do not call my people shithole or nothing like that. We'll show your ass a shithole when African and colonized people rise up and you gotta go back to that barren rock that you want to call a continent that is Europe, okay? It's just a peninsula, girl.
You know, if it weren't for Europe, you wouldn't have transportation, electricity, or even that computer you used to attack white people. Since you made your video, let me finishing off by asking, why don't you visit Sudan or Somalia or Congo for some time? Should you spend some time there? I would love to see what your opinion of Africa is then.